I'm the founder of JobHal. We started, as Hang said, not really 18 months ago, but rather I think last April to think about what can you do with chatbots in recruiting. And today I want to show you what we have learned, things that we have done, also kind of how the feedback we got from companies influenced our journey. Show you one example in particular, and then some use cases, how we work with companies together. Because from our point of view, there's no, the chatbot space in recruiting is not as mature as, for example, the ATS market where you put down the requirements you have and then you get something and that's it. We need to develop this together. But I think some of the examples are going to show this. So we started with the obvious. And many, there are a few companies who also did that, that you can use chatbots in recruiting, right? It's a very good use case. Chatbots can engage with people. You can answer FAQ automatically 24/7. We build our own NLP engine specifically for the recruiting vertical. So we don't base our technology on top of API or AI or WIT-AI or other NLP engines out there. You can use it for screening. That. Scheduling is obviously also a huge efficiency gain. You can do that. The interview preparation, something that we really thought was a great use case without any buzzword like machine learning or AI. We thought it has a really nice and almost human touch to prepare a candidate 24 or 48 hours before he comes to the interview. Where is the interview exactly taking place? Who will you meet? Why is the company hiring for this role? And these kind of things. And of course, a chatbot is able to stay in touch with many more people and keep them up to date about vacant roles than any other, than a human. But then we realized when we spoke to companies, so we have people who use this channel, and they're engaged and they apply for jobs and they can ask questions and they get answers to it. So why shouldn't we use this channel, which is so close to the candidate? I don't know why this is happening. Why don't we use this channel also further down the process? Why don't we let the chatbot collect information about the candidate we need before he starts? We would like you to sign up, for example, for Slack before you start. So all these things you can do also automatically with a chatbot. And I'm going to come to one case study later on specifically. Again, we can optimize the conversion rate later on in the process, which is something that's super exciting because everybody's talking about the recruiting acquisition piece. Whereas, if we optimize something later on in the process, the impact is much, much greater. And then we come to the next point. We have onboarded somebody. Why not use this channel that people are already used to and it's intuitive to them? Why shouldn't we use this later on in the employee experience to collect feedback, to see how people are doing, to incorporate learning and development modules, to support HR again, FAQ in other areas, and then you could even go so far to say if somebody has or wants to leave the organization, you could offboard them through a chatbot, and so you can do many different things and connect it to a chatbot that we build for an organization. What I think is really interesting is this continuous engagement that the chatbot has with your candidates and talent pool. One interesting thing that's not so much about the immediate product, but I still want to share it with you, is the feedback. So we put a machine instead of the human there to talk to the candidate. What was interesting for all the companies we worked with so far is the feedback they got from how candidates interact with the machine, so the questions they ask. They have the employer branding content on their career page and they think this is what people are interested in, and then they get the question people actually ask a machine. Deutsche Telekom, for example, found out that over 28% of the questions are purely around salary. They don't touch that topic on any information piece. And I don't mean that the company should say you earn 32,675 euros per year on this, but just rather transparently communicate this. And I think this feedback loop also for the company and the recruiting teams was really interesting. So I want to show you one chatbot that we built for one of the largest in-house consultancies in Germany. It's integrated on their career page. It's very quick, so I have to speak quickly. So the company shares something about the employer brand. You can go deeper into this. They put a very generic text there. You could put videos there or pictures or anything. We then try with quick replies as quickly as possible to find out where's the person for a job and what kind of job. Because as soon as the chatbot knows this, the chatbot stays in touch with the candidate and the pool. And no matter whether the person applies or not, the chatbot stays in touch with that person. So, this is the thing, obvious thing, job updates. And, you also have, I think what's coming. Yeah, you have the job ad in the chat, which is something that's really nicely done by Facebook. We not only develop on Facebook, and coming to this later. And then after that, if people have a question about a role or the company as a total, in general, people can ask these questions. And then our NLP engine in the back, which we train for all our clients specifically, based on data we have, plus potentially data your organization has somewhere. There are different sources. We guide companies and teams there where to collect these things. And then, if the person is interested, the person can apply through the chat interface right away here and now. And then the person goes to the questions the company thinks is most relevant. What's interesting there again is, these are not the most exciting questions. Again, when we had these sessions with our clients, how should we develop this process? Companies and teams also started to brainstorm and think about how can we make this more interactive, because this is really the beautiful thing. It's not a page, here's our wall and the barrier to entry, but it's 100% interactive. You ask for something and it goes step by step. And this interaction has a huge impact on the conversion rate, because the more invested people get in the process, the more likely they are to finish the application in the end. So I don't know how far we are. So it's still with the languages. Then the GPA. And also, we build, what's very important, the integration to your ATS. So this application is not ending up on an Excel sheet or in our dashboard. It ends up in their ATS that they're using already, checking all the regular rules and regulations. And then the person can go through one final time through the application. It's still a chat. And then people can send off their application. And you just saw, CV is optional there. And yeah, that was quick, but we ask for feedback, of course, especially during the pilots. People can share also their experience on Facebook. So a couple of other cases, so just you get a feeling of the projects that we've been doing. For example, with Deutsche Telekom and T-Systems, they have a slightly older, or know they have an older target group. So they say, yeah, we want to try it on Facebook Messenger, but we're not sure this is the only way to go. So we build a chatbot on Smooch, which sits on their career page. It looks very similar to the example before by the university, but in the background there is a chatbot. Another thing is for Kelly OCG, what we built into their chatbot is how do you, the chatbot can target and retarget and treat a talent pool in a whole new way. But what do you do with the second, third, fourth best candidates? Is there also a way that you treat them differently and give them more value and treat them in communication-wise differently? Because they're very, very good candidates and not the general talent pool. And we built something for them in this wise. And for energy consulting, for which we built a chatbot, a whole chatbot, there was another focus on their conversion rate late in the funnel. We looked at the data together, and from the moment they made an offer to candidates to how many candidates signed the contract, there was a flag there, let's call it that way. And we looked into how with a chatbot can we increase that conversion rate when this offer is valid for 6 weeks, and people potentially have other offers, and how can you stay on the radar? And I think it's that what Hang said, that with a chatbot, your message as an employer brand pops up, on a platform among friends, peers, and families from people, which is exactly where you want to be. And then really, what's important for me, for you to take away is, of course, we build chatbots in recruiting. We only do recruiting. It makes total sense to focus on one vertical. We always use, of course, our core technology and our NLP engine and our dashboard. But we want to build a chatbot with you together for your target audience, because this is something that it's not off the shelf, and we are happy to extend the product and think of new use cases. How chatbot can really help improve your candidate experience, but also have efficiency gains on your company side. So we don't have a booth, so it's just me who has flown in from Berlin, but I will be here the whole day, and if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to speak about any of the work that we have done. Thank you.